Hello and welcome back to another episode of Meals from Mars. Today I'm with the Commander, Angelo, and we are going to be cooking up a bean soup by Joan Peterson. So Angelo, you ready to make a soup with me?
Of course, yeah. I'm looking forward to it.
So
interesting ingredients.
What are the ingredients for our bean soup?
Well, we got bacon here, now we got Spam, we got rehydrated carrots, rehydrated bell peppers, we got rehydrated celery, some good smelling onion, then we got some potato granules that we're going to use as a thickener for the stew, right? And then salt and pepper and hot sauce.
Yes, and one of the things that this recipe calls for is navy beans, but we didn't have any navy beans, so we're going to substitute lima beans, which are our buttery bean. I think it's going to go great with this dish, especially because we're using Spam and bacon. You ready to get started?
Sure.
Okay, let's get started.
So what do I add first? Any preference?
I think you should add the meat first, and the onions.
And the onions,
yep.
Okay. Let's start with the Spam.
So why don't we add in our carrots and our celery. We'll give this a toss. It's smelling amazing. And then we're going to add this to our beans and simmer that up. So sizzling, you gotta love it. Releasing all those flavors.
And the carrots, the very last ingredient.
Angelo, our meat looks fantastic. I think it's ready to go into our soup. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this looks good.
Smells amazing.
Yeah, it is.
So what we've done is we've got our beans and we boiled them for 2 minutes, and then they've been sitting in water for 5 hours now, because we did that this morning to tender them, make them ready to cook.
Okay.
And so we're going to take our mixture here and we're going to add it into
and you
our beans.
retain all the water.
We retain all the water.
Oh, okay.
And so all of this flavor should be released into that water once we start getting our soup simmering.
And then we thicken it using the potato granules. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so this will simmer for about 30 minutes. Then we're going to spice it up and thicken it.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Sounds perfect.
Okay, if you remove that, I'm going to move this on. And then you're going to pour that inside. You got enough room?
While I'm sitting?
Yep. Challenging.
Yeah. Whoa.
So Angelo, we've got our stock, our beans, our Spam, our bacon, and our veggies all ready to go. We're going to get this to a boil, reduce the heat, and let it simmer for about a half hour before we add in our spices. What do you think?
It looks good. And you know what? The beans are not only interesting because they contain a lot of protein, they're also rich in fiber.
Yeah.
What did the package say, like 47%?
Yeah, I think it was
That's huge. Yeah, that's really a lot of fiber. And the thing is, we badly need it. Because we have a diet with shelf-stable ingredients, and those are ingredients that are highly processed, which means hardly any fiber.
Yes.
So these are really needed for us. So, the beans are useful in many different ways.
I agree. I'm really looking forward to this dish, and I think the crew's really going to love it.
I think so too.
Okay, well, let's cover this up and bring that to a boil, and then we'll reduce it to a simmer, and we'll be ready to go.
Okay.
All right, welcome back to the kitchen. I am still cooking with Angelo our bean soup, but this recipe was unique in that it had 2 recipes. It also calls for herb biscuits. Jahaira, you're on baking today. So we brought you in to help make the herb biscuits.
That's correct.
Yes, so the 2 of you guys are going to make the herb biscuits, and I'm going to sit back and watch.
Okay.
So Jahaira, you have our dry ingredients. What are they?
So we have flour here, and we have baking powder. We will be adding 1 tablespoon of baking powder. We have salt, And we have a mix of herbs. So can you tell us what herbs we have there?
Yes, we have rosemary, thyme, basil, and oregano.
Oh,
and they've been mixed together.
Good.
And so, our commander, Angelo, you have our liquids. What are our liquids going to be?
Well, it's basically reconstituted milk.
Yep.
And vegetable oil.
And vegetable oil.
Yes.
So, Jahira, you go ahead and mix the dry ingredients.
Okay.
Angelo, you mix the wet ingredients.
The wet.
Okay, so you guys ready to mix our biscuits?
Yes.
We are ready.
Okay, go ahead and pour, and you mix as he pours. Okay, we have our dough mixture. It looks good. Now we're ready to put it onto our sheet here. What we want is small little biscuits, so walnut
Okay.
size.
Okay.
So you take a scoop and scoop it off and then hand it over to him. and you
Something
can
like
put-
that?
Yeah, that looks good. And then you just drop it on. You guys can just go back and forth. And what we want to do is we want to make 6 of these, just herb. And then I've got some cheddar cheese, and we're going to mix in the cheddar cheese, and we're going to try and do 6 more. So,
Okay.
so nice small biscuits for us to go with our soup. Okay, you guys, our biscuits are looking great, but I like to change recipes up a little bit. So we're going to throw some cheddar cheese in there. Angela, you got our cheese?
Yeah.
You can give that to
So
some of that to Jahira to mix into our dough.
rehydrated cheese, right?
Yes.
Yeah. How much water do you use to make this cheese?
I actually used a half a cup of cheddar cheese and a half a cup of water. So I did a 1-to-1 ratio.
Yeah. Remember, I made a mistake once.
Yeah.
Adding hot water to dehydrated cheese is not a good idea.
What did it do?
It got all slimy.
Yeah, and
Of course, because the cheese melted.
Yep.
So. Just put it in.
Yeah, and then Jahira, you mix it up, and then we're going to do, again, 6 more. So the crew is going to get a biscuit that is just the regular herb, what the recipe calls for, and then they're going to get a cheddar one also. Okay, yep, that's good.
There you go.
Wow, that looks, yeah, that looks great, doesn't it? So we've got our biscuits. We're gonna pop them in the oven, and these are gonna cook rather quick. The recipe calls for an oven of 475 and 8 to 10 minutes.
Sounds good.
Sounds great. All right, guys.
Alrighty.
Okay, so we have our bean soup and our herb biscuits, and so you ready to try it?
Yes, I am.
It's very tasty. Absolutely.
It's really good. The spam is really tender. Yeah, and I like the flavor. Okay, I gotta try my herb biscuit with it now. Wow, you can really taste the rosemary. You guys notice that? And the thyme.
Yeah. Very good.
Ooh, hot. But delicious. I don't want to stop eating because it's so good. But we gotta feed the rest of the crew. So thank you for tuning in for another episode of Meals from Mars. And I hope you come back next week to see what's cooking in the hab.
See you next time. Bye bye.